76 years old. I worked in the Bookies till I was 62. 30 years. I was a cashier. I was working in a little shop in Tottenham High Road. It suited me with my kids and everything. And I used to take bets off of the punters, and also I used to pay them out as well. There was one, in all the years I worked in the Bookies, only once I got frightened. It was a raid. And I was scared to death. And the police came and sorted it. Everyone I worked with in the shop, we all got used to one another. And it was good workmanship. Yeah, you always had regulars, but then you'd have strangers as well. But there was always the regulars. I'd work out the odds myself. Used to have like a computer in front of you to work out the odds. Used to get customers that put on big bets. When I say big bets, I mean they'd lay a lot of money. They didn't always win, but when they did, it's good for them, not good for the shop. End of racing, I'd close the little shop, take the keys to the big shop, end of story.
I'd never bought a lottery ticket or been brought up around anything to do with betting. My dad never did, my mum never did. Neither did my friends really, and betting wasn't, I don't think, as accessible as it was then. Like, you obviously had your betting shops, but I think they're a bit more strict in terms of who could go in. Obviously apps weren't about, websites weren't really about, so it was either go into a betting shop or scratch card. It was like maybe about 6-7 years ago, I think it was the World Cup or the Euros or something like that, that I first started getting into betting. I was just like a group of mates in the pub, or might have been like pre-drinks before the pub, and we saw an advert on TV offering like free bets and stuff, and we were like, oh, you know what, like, let's do it, let's get, sign up, which is well easy to do. And I used to only like ever put £5 in, and then over a couple of weekends it would be like £5 on a Saturday, then that'd be it, then the next Saturday would be £5. Then before you know it, it's like £5 on the 12 o'clock games, and then £5 on the 3 o'clock games, and then £5 on the 5:30 games. So you've done 15 quid in one day, and you think, oh, it's only a fiver, it's only 15 quid on that weekend. Then you forget that football for the Premier League is like maybe a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday and a Monday. So before you know it, you're spending like 20 quid on each day, and then you spent like 80 quid, 60, 80 quid on a weekend, not even getting off your sofa. Got this app, I might just put a fiver on, only 5 quid. Had Apple ID, touch ID thing, so I was just like, it was so easy, didn't even have to get my wallet out, didn't have to get off my sofa. So you start getting a bit braver, you start putting like 50 quid in. Because then you think, oh well, if £5 got me to 60, 50 is going to get me to 600. I only need to do 5 bets or whatever to get to that amount. I remember getting up to, following these tips, I think I put £20 in, and I got up to like 1,600 by following this guy. And he was only, I think, from that point, I think it was only 5 more bets till like 10 grand, because it goes up exponentially, because it's all odds. And I was like, well, I need 5 more bets, and I've got 10 grand. Like, imagine. 20 quid to 10 grand. So I was like, okay, this guy tweeted this tweet, and then he was like, okay, this team to score, and they had like 60 minutes, just all I needed was 1 goal. So I put the £1,600 on this game, and I was like, it's going to score. Ended 0-0. So I'd lost £1,600. Now that wasn't my £1,600 because I'd made it from £20, and I had actually cashed out the £20 once I got to about £100. So technically I didn't lose any money. But I can see why people will lose a lot of money by not taking out their original stake. Then you realise suddenly that there are more games on. You've got the Friday night Premier League kickoffs, the Saturday ones, the Sunday ones, the Monday ones, and then every day there's actual football. Like in other countries, like it shows you football that's going on in like Algeria at like 1 a.m, or there's games going on in Sweden at 10 a.m. So you just starting work and there's games kicking off. You're on lunch and there's games in Scotland. You finish work and there's games in Poland. You get home, you've had dinner, there's games going on in Mexico. You're going to bed, there's games on in Ghana. So 24/7 there's bets going on. That's just football. But it wasn't until I looked at my bank statement that really made me think, okay, I need to stop this now, because it was, instead of seeing things, you know, like shopping and travel and all the necessities of, you know, all the things that should come out of your bank statement, it was just betting apps constantly. It was £5 here, £5 there, £5 here, all day, every day, and it was just like, okay, I need to stop this. What I thought was only a £5, you know, I can make £5 in however many minutes at work, sort of thing, or, you know, I won't buy a beer this weekend because I'll spend it on bet, which is £5. You know, all these little weird ways of justifying in your head, you don't realise until you see your bank statement physically printed off in front of you, going through 4 or 5 pages of bank statement, and all it is just betting. It's dangerous, and they don't do anything to stop it.
I leave home about 10:30 in the morning, go for a coffee, go into the betting shop, mark about 2-3 hours, go to the pub, have a couple of pints before I go home. That's it. Go home, cook, eat, and watch television. Unfortunately, I work in the restaurant. I'm a chef. And I used to work in the restaurant, and everybody used to gamble there. And I was only a young boy, I just come from Cyprus, 1959. There is some things you learn. It doesn't always work, but a lot of time it works. Example, if a horse open 3-1 and it goes 7-1, I won't touch him with your money. Well, I've done 5 horses, and they all come up. It was Easter bank holiday. I got the bet on Saturday morning. I won the money and I got paid on Tuesday because it was bank holiday. The bank was closed, so I went to the bank with the manager in Wood Green, and he filled me up a sack of money. Well, I bought 2 houses. I had 2 girls at the time. I bought them a house each, and I changed all the furniture in the house. We went to Cyprus for 5 weeks. I come back and I had £10 left. Where I come from is got beautiful beaches and clean sea and gold sun. And you go into the sea, you can see everything underneath. There is people, you know, if they don't like you, they find a way not to pay you. You have to be very careful. You can easily get down with the people that work in the betting shop nowadays. They're amateurs. They don't know nothing about it. Before it was different. It was much different. It was busy before. Now because the people, they got fed up with them, you know, and they don't go to you go to the betting shop, you see 2-3 people, most of the betting shops. Betting shop used to be full up, and it used to be this Romanian, Albanian, play the machine, £100 and spin, and then they used to lose their money, they used to break the machine, they used to break the betting shop, they used to have a fight with the managers. Now that's gone. Down here to Haringey, it used to be about 20 cubs, Greek cubs, gambling places, you know, they play cards. Now, from here to Haringey, you see 3 shops. Because the people that used to gamble, they're gone. If you bet it, of course, it's a hobby. Anything you do regularly is a hobby. If you're chasing your money, you will lose your trousers. They will take your trousers off. And most of the gamblers, they are chasers. I used to be like that. Say 1 or 2 horses a day, and I go home, win or lose. I don't stay. It's a horse racing until 9 o'clock in the evening. I don't stay. Tomorrow is another day.
I've been in the betting industry 1 year. These people are crazy. Like, one guy, he lost like £10 and smashed the whole shop up. Yeah, and I've seen people like put thousands of pounds in and just walk out like nothing, lose and walk out. He played until he had 19p, and that's when he cashed out and left with the ticket for 19p after coming from 1,500. But I don't know. I think that it's a disease. Some of them will just walk into the shop, not even notice you, they'll just go straight to the machines. you could say good morning, good hello. I even try to offer them drinks sometime. They'll tell me to like F off and shit. Yeah. So I just leave them still. You have people, not necessarily from our shops, but like they're losing other bookies and come here. But I like seeing when my regulars win still. Because they put on bet every day. Some of them lose. Some of them will go on with their face hanging down. So when they win, it's like a joy too.